Thank you, Mayor Tammy. We love you. Take care. And enjoy that traffic going back. Not like coming into the city. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate you. Phone numbers 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Kevin Miller in the morning. So the Democrats have the new Green Deal. And as our friend Sean Hannity talked about, boy, they don't want cows farting. And this is a family-friendly show, and we really don't talk about flatulence that much. In fact, I like the idea of saying cow flatulence as opposed to cow farting. But here we go. You're going to love this. From CNBC, we have the new Green Deal yesterday from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, a Democrat of New York, and Senator Ed Markey of Massachusetts. They decided they would announce the new Green Deal. Well, they don't know how to pay for it, number one. And they want to get rid of all plane travel. They want to get rid of carpeting. They want to get rid of all the buildings. I guess we're all going to be living in huts, apparently. What they're aimed to do is to fundamentally reimagine or reimage the United States economy with the environment at the top of mind. Remember all the treaties and remember the emissions. Now, those of you that are manly men or womanly women that drive the big trucks, and I know what you're going to say, Kevin Miller, this is a tune-out for us if you're going to bash us for driving the big trucks. No! I just love parking next to somebody with a big truck because I can't see when I'm going, trying to get out. Or having to actually look down at people all the time. Look, big trucks are big trucks. But when you have a big truck, you are making a commitment. And I want to thank you. Because unlike cheapskate Kevin Miller, you're making a commitment to dramatically fund the roads, to dramatically fund the infrastructure, the transportation. Because if you're driving a big truck, you're paying a ton in gasoline tax. A ton in gasoline tax. But not according to Markey and Cortez. We're just going to call her Cortez, okay? She knows everything at the age of 29. They want you to ditch the fossil fuels, upgrade or replace every building in the country, and get rid of air travel. And we'll talk about this in a minute. Net zero greenhouse gases in 10 years. I don't know how they're going to do that because some of the greenhouse gases come from flatulence. However, back to the big trucks. And thankfully, I believe President Trump, one of the first things he did was eliminate this thing where you had Obama come in. You remember former President Obama coming in. And what did former President Obama do? Well, he raised the emissions to unattainable goals on new vehicles. Going to bankrupt the auto industry. Well, those emission standards are over, right? So, unfortunately, we were having an issue yesterday where the politicians were talking about net zero emissions. Quote, we set a goal to get net zero rather than zero emissions in 10 years because we aren't sure that we'll be able to fully get rid of farting cows and airplanes that fast. What world are they living in? Are they going to go to the beautiful, voluptuous cows that we see on the side of the road in Idaho, in the Treasure Valley, or throughout the Gem State and say, sorry, Lucy, you can't flatulate? Right? At 580-5436, 580-KIDO, what are these guys smoking? Well, apparently they got a little sensitive to this, and they said, we're going to get rid of the farting cows, quote, and they tweaked it to emissions from cow. Now, a truck emits. Do people emit when you're in your home and you go, boy, who emitted that? Is that what we're going to do? Are we going to have some type of emissions filter on the backs of our derrieres to make sure that all the emissions are contained and diluted? Never mind Russia, North Korea, jobs, retirement, Social Security, the real issues. This is what they're talking about. Methane gas produced by bovine flatulence contributes a significant portion of the greenhouse gases contributing to global warming, according to the United Nations. Did you know that livestock farming produces 18% of the environmentally damaging gases? And a quarter of that comes from the cow flatulence and burps? Now, what? First the libs are trying to get rid of flatulence, now burps? Say it ain't so. Do we have any sound from Miss Cortez? Miss O. Cortez. Let's see. Well, there she is. She actually wants to get rid of ICE. We'll see if we can get to that. Here we go.
I don't think that we lose elections by addressing climate change. I don't think we ever have, and I don't think we ever will. This issue faces all of us, and we are not going to get divided over it, period. We leave no one behind on our solution.
Didn't she say this was this generation's World War II?
Nancy Pelosi is a leader on climate, has always been a leader on climate, and I will not allow our caucus to be divided up by silly notions of whatever narrative. We are in this together. We are 100% in this together.
I'm sorry. And I don't mean, yeah, I do want to sound like an old fuddy-dud. This kid's a nitwit. She doesn't know what she's talking about. Tom in Nampa with Kevin Miller. Good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio.
Good morning, Kevin. I got a question for you. Do buffaloes flatulate?
Buffaloes?
Buffalo, the American bison.
Doesn't everybody flatulate?
I'm not sure. Because if buffaloes don't and cows do, we just replace cows with buffalo. Hey, think about it. No, think about it. The words of Big John Wayne, the Almighty made this territory for buffalo. We grow buffalo instead of trying to grow cows out here. Problem solved.
We will have to find out some.
I like buffalo meat better anyway.
I love the
higher
bison.
Protein, lower cholesterol, lower fat, healthier food. Just saying.
I'm wondering if they come for the cows, are we next?
Well, they're already coming for the kids.
Right?
Yeah. Which may explain their burp thing, too, because babies burp. So, just thinking. And if buffalo do flatulate, old Buffalo Bill Cody should get a vote of thanks because he took care of those flatulating buffalo back in 18 whatever. Could have saved us from an early global warming crisis.
God bless Buffalo Bill. We miss him now more than ever.
You really should think about giving him a green award. Al Gore should have given him a green award for saving us from buffalo flatulence. Oh, AOC. You know why the Democrats are letting her run wild? Because, next election, they're going to put up somebody who's, compared to her, is going to look so good. She's like the designated idiot. You run her out, let people take a look at her, everybody's going to go, she's a loon. Whoever you put up next to her is going to look like a genius. It's the old joke about following a dog act. That, honestly, I think the Democratic leadership, Pelosi, is letting her run out there just to show everybody, whoever they put up is going to look better than her. They could put the old joke, they could put an empty chair out there and it'd look better than her. Just a theory.
I love it.
Pretty good one, I think.
And maybe we'll have the flatulence police.
Kevin, that's actually a very, very scary thought. The green police.
Kind of like that old Cheap Trick song, the Dream Police, the Green Police.
Yeah. Well, who was it put out several Super Bowls ago? They had a series of commercials about the green police are coming for you. The green police are coming for you.
Right, exactly.
Oh, God. It's funny. She takes care, I bet when she takes care of all the airlines, how are you going to move people across country, or are we going to bring back, ships if we're going to overseas? Are we going to see trains make a comeback?
Yeah, who wants to go on a train? Tom, thank you for the call. Let's go to Pete from Mountain Home. I finally got your package. Thanks, Pete.
Yeah, that's an interesting article there. I did want to say that, let's see, I'm trying to describe her in a polite manner. The bartending nutcase of the Democrat Party is, I don't know if that's polite. I understand, though, that carbon dioxide is one of their big bugbears, that it's a horrible greenhouse gas that we got to stop. I would like to point out that human beings inhale the air, a mixture of oxygen and nitrogen, and we exhale carbon dioxide. So I would suggest that if Ocasio-Cortez is serious about cutting out on greenhouse gas emissions, she should stop exhaling. It's okay if she inhales. I just don't want to see any exhaling from her. In fact, I think all the Democrats in Congress, to show that they're serious, should just stop breathing.
I wonder what Nancy Pelosi would look like trying to hold her breath.
Oh, dear God, please. It's too early, Kevin. Don't do that to me. I understand that OCA is also a little upset, or AOC or whatever, because Nancy did not put her on the climate change committee in Congress, the Green Committee, whatever it was. Maybe she figured that the results of that committee will be fruitcake enough without her.
That would be something.
Yeah, and this, it's wonderful that she is now the bright new face of the Democrat Party. I loved her follow-up after Nancy and Chuck Schumer did their American Gothic comment on the State of the Union, that we then heard from her.
Pete, what about the cow flatulence? Is it time to, get some police?
Well, I really maybe we could put methane collection bags on every cow, and then use the methane to I don't know what you do with methane. Put it in balloons and send it up to the. Oh no, you couldn't do that. I think that the cows. Let's just not worry about the cows. Let's just have all the Democrats stop exhaling. I think that's a better way to go, because they care. They really want to make a difference.
Let's just guilt the cows. Thank you, Pete. Take care.
Thanks, Kevin. You too. God bless.
God bless. KIDO Talk Radio, 580-5436. 580-KIDO. So the devious little libs are talking about climate change. Okay, it's about to start snowing here for the weekend in Idaho. Ask the folks in Chicago if they believe in global warming. It doesn't exist.
Nancy Pelosi is a leader on climate, has always been a leader on climate, and I will not allow our caucus to be divided up by silly notions of whatever narrative. We are in this together. We are 100% in this together.
And coming up, more of the devious little libs on the wall, immigration, ICE, and the new Green Deal. Are you ready to get rid of airplanes? Are you ready for the cow flatulence police? And not to be outdone, we're talking about getting rid of carpet. Say it ain't so. I mean, this is like something from the 60s, the radical lib LSD-fueled ramblings of a bunch of loons. And usually we're not this out there, but I mean, the idea of getting rid of fossil fuels, and America is producing, we are the fossil fuel capital of the world. And I love this idea, upgrading or replacing every building in this country. And we're going to get rid of air travel. Well, so much for the friendly skies. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Thank you for waking up on the right side with Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio.
We're here to say that an agency like ICE, which repeatedly and systematically violates human rights, does not deserve a dime.
There we have it. Ocasio-Cortez talking about ICE, the new Green Deal, and everything else. Boy, what a way to start the day. Thank goodness we've got you looking out for us. KIDO Talk Radio time, 8:23. Let's get to your phone calls and trying to find a solution to end 18% of the greenhouse gas emissions due to cow flatulence. Jerry in Nampa, good morning. You're on with Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Jerry.
Hey, good morning, Kevin. Yeah, your screener got a little confused. He said, you're from Eagle, right? And what I should have told him was, say, no, I'm in Nampa. I was on my way to Eagle until Obama came along. But anyway, that's another story. I have an idea if AOC ever comes to Boise to do a meet and greet, and there's a rope line for us all to be able to shake hands with her and high five. And she's coming down the red carpet there. We all line up on the rope line, and when it's time to shake hands with her, we all stick out our index finger and say, "Hold my finger."
Now, I could see Mayor Beater inviting her here. I really could.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
I love that. Pull my finger.
She might even bring my old governor, Jay Inslee, with her.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Well, Jerry, what is your reaction to this? We're going to get rid of all the buildings. We're going to build new buildings. We're going to wave a magic wand, and it's going to be the best ever.
Well, my original reaction is if I had a 7-year-old kid and he came home from school and he started spouting all that stuff, I'd probably laugh at him. Then I'd pull him out of school and stick him into a private school. But that would be if it was my child.
Sure.
I guess she never progressed beyond that. But she is highly educated, you know.
Oh?
Oh, yes. Most of those people are very highly educated.
Well, I'm glad I didn't go to her school. Jerry, thank you for the call and listening to KIDO Talk Radio.
You bet. Bye.
Bye-bye. More of your calls in a minute. Traffic and weather together, 107.5.
7's Larry Gebert.
And I'm Kevin Miller in the morning. Let's get to your phone calls. Let's go to Sarah in Boise. Sarah, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio.
Morning, Kevin. All right. Sorry I missed the president's speech. Loved it. Heard excerpts. Thank you so much for everything you have done regarding that. My question, though, is regarding fossil fuel. Okay? I'm an English teacher, private, but I do not understand, and I do not agree that dinosaurs died and made our world, our Earth, oil. Okay, sorry. It's early morning for me.
Sure.
Thank you. The oil is the Earth's natural lubricant. Okay? I don't believe, I would love for you to get, a scientist or you have wonderful, wonderful people that come on your program, get some professional to, explain how oil is produced, because it's down in the earth. I don't believe for a moment that it was fossils that, dinosaurs that died and became our oil. I don't believe it for a moment. So if you could expand on that a little bit, and maybe, like I said, get some professionals on.
Well, you're the first person, Sarah, I've heard that says that the oil didn't come from the dinosaurs.
That's my point. That's what I'd like to have anybody, research and come up with other things. I don't know. It doesn't make sense, because when an animal, any animal, topical on the Earth's surface dies, then they decompose, certainly, but they don't. It doesn't go. The Earth, there's so much to it, so there's not enough time to go into it, but it doesn't make sense.
Well, I think what we'll do is we'll throw that out to our old panel of experts, and we'll see what happens, Sarah.
Yep,
so keep listening.
That's what I'm asking.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Coming up, the dinosaurs, oil, fossil fuels, AOC, ICE, and you, all before Glenn Beck with me, Kevin Miller, 107.5 FM, 580 AM, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Maggie.
Good morning, Kevin.
Rolling right along. Don't forget Lars Larson tonight after Sean Hannity. And we are continuing the conversation that Sean broke down yesterday, where you have Ocasio-Cortez, she and others wanting to ban cows from flatulating and people from flatulating and getting rid of airplanes and just this crazy, wacky, zany New Deal. Again, you could not make this up. Really, you couldn't make this up if you were coming up with an episode of Cracked or Mad Magazine or something of that nature, right? I mean, this is just goofy. We're going to get rid of air travel. And we're going to rebuild every building. Sunshine and unicorns for everyone, right? Let's break that down. Do we have some of the clips from Ms. Cortez? And then we'll get your thoughts on this, because she goes on and on and on. And look, I'm not going to apologize for having life experience. I'm not going to apologize for actually knowing things and understanding no ticky, no punchy, right?
A group of Democrats led by Senator Ed Markey and Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez are outlining a broad proposal to overhaul U.S. energy, describing the framework as a Green New Deal.
This issue faces all of us, and we are not going to get divided over it, period. We leave no one behind on our solutions.
The sun is setting on the dirty energy of the past. Today marks the dawn of a new era of climate action.
Her direction would take us down the road of an economy that's pretty constant, and how do you divide it up so more people have less? I'm interested in creating a growing economy where there's more for more people.
We are reclaiming our leadership on the most important issue facing humankind. This is the new climate democracy, of the people, by the people, for the planet.
Wow. Climate democracy. Never heard that one. Joining us now from Fox News Radio on KIDO Talk Radio, exclusively here in the Treasure Valley, John Decker, live at the White House. John, good morning.
Hey, good morning to you, Kevin. How are you doing today?
Not bad. And here I thought we would be just going over the emotional speech that resonated at the National Prayer Breakfast yesterday with the president talking about life.
Well, this is a message the president delivered yesterday at the National Prayer Breakfast. It's a similar message the president delivered earlier in the week at the State of the Union address on Tuesday night. Not many presidents, certainly even Republican presidents, speak so openly about the issue of protecting the unborn, but President Trump has. I think that's a good reason why the religious right has really remained strongly in his corner and has backed his candidacy for president and supported him in terms of the things that he wants to do as president.
You know, Pat Buchanan has written today, John, has the president found a path toward re-election, and considering the results from the opinion polls, despite the negative coverage, how's the White House feeling about the reaction to the State of the Union?
Very pleased. They're pleased with the snap poll that was taken by CBS News, which also showed the president fared very well among those being polled by CBS, and that they feel that this was a good start, as a good kickoff, essentially, to the 2020 campaign. A lot of the messages, a lot of the themes that we heard during the president's State of the Union address are certainly themes that we'll hear throughout his run for re-election.
Indeed. Do you think this gives them or the perception that they might have a little bit more leverage when it comes to the wall, immigration, issues that the president did raise during the State of the Union?
Well, you know, a week from today, interestingly enough, Kevin, will be that deadline for that bipartisan committee to come to some sort of an agreement as it relates to border security. And, you know, we're hearing some positive news coming from actually members of both sides, Republicans and Democrats, that they're making some progress. They're finding some compromises. Obviously, the only thing that would really satisfy the president, of course, would be getting that money for a border wall with Mexico. I don't know if it has to be $5.7 billion, which is what he's requested, but there needs to be some funding for that. Otherwise, the president will not sign any type of legislation, which would mean we would likely be in another partial government shutdown because the funding for those portions of the government not funded right now would run out on the 15th.
Until then, I guess we'll all be working, and you'll be working nonstop, although tennis season is starting for you.
Well, that's right. Well, it started with the Australian Open, and I'll be heading out to California next month for the BNP Paribas Open, which is a big tournament, and that's in Indian Wells, California, near Palm Springs. But my focus right now, obviously, is what's happening here at the White House and what will happen next week as it relates to that bipartisan conference committee. We'll be following that, pretty much daily up until the Friday deadline.
John Decker, you have a great weekend. Always appreciate you, sir. Thank you for making time for us.
Thank you, Kevin. Have a great day. Talk to you real soon.
Thank you. All right, our great friend John Decker. We go to Harvey in Homedale with Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Harvey.
Good morning, Mr. Miller. I'm not real eloquent on the radio, but
neither am I,
brother. I have a lot of points, but I'm going to stick to one and be a good boy. Number one,
a good boy. I love that. Yeah,
I'm trying. Yep. In the 1990s at the Tokyo Auto Show, by injecting oxygen and stuff in their emissions, I don't know just what they done, but they had a man give a speech with a mask over the tailpipe, breathing the emissions. So, number one, it's possible. Number two, the geologists for the oil companies, my brother works for them as a consultant, they laugh at the idea of oil coming from animals. They believe, and they use this to find out where they look for oil, that it's a naturally occurring substance produced by the tectonic plates of the earth to slide back and forth on. And they believe that, they believe it is fact, but it's not popular, so they don't talk about it. But they say, if you look where we drill oil wells, that's where it's going to be. And we used to think we were doing biosparging and everything, and the oil was just leaking back into the hole and we'd pump it out again. But no, the plates are producing it themselves. My brother says that assures a future supply of oil. I wonder from working on motors whether things without lubrication tend to jump and snap and produce earthquakes. And I'll shut my mouth and leave it at that. And I don't. I'll call in another time and talk about the communist 10-point plan from the 50s and the 90s at Berkeley on how to destroy the U.S. But it's kind of interesting, and maybe another time I'll get to call back in and talk to you.
All right, Harvey, take care, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you. We go to Tea Party Bob, and before we get going here talking about fossil fuels, this is my education on oil. Are you ready to hear it?
Go right ahead.
All right.
A story about a man named Jed, a poor mountaineer, barely kept his family fed. And then one day he was shooting at some food, and up through the ground come a bubbling crude. Oil, that is, black gold, Texas tea. Well, the first thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. The kinfolk said, Jed, move away from there. Said, California is the place you ought to be. So they loaded up the truck and they moved to Beverly Hills, that is, swimming pools, movie stars. The Beverly Hillbillies.
You know, I have to say, I don't think Ocasio-Cortez has ever seen the brilliance that was the Beverly Hillbillies.
I don't think Ocasio-Cortez has ever come out of the womb. You know, it looks like the Democrats have another idiot standing at the podium, otherwise known as the Queen of Reen in New York. If you read the resolution, you can't help but laugh your butt off. If she's any indication of what our colleges are graduating these days, our country's in deep trouble. I need to reiterate what I said the other day. It's the fault of the electorate that we have these preponderance of stupid politicians being elected to office nowadays. Does anyone believe what she says can happen in 10 years, I doubt it. You can't upgrade all these existing buildings. You have 100 million homes, God knows how many office buildings. And, Kevin, you'd have to get rid of your new gas furnace and install some solar into your house. Eliminating pollution for greenhouses. What are we going to do? Give the cows all tablets of gas X so we don't have any? The most efficient way to eliminate CO2 pollution is to stop the Democrats and people like Cortez from making speeches and blowing hot air. You know, overhauling transportation systems with electric cars and charging stations, and with high-speed rail to supplant air transportation is nothing more than laughable. Does she plan to build a tunnel to Europe? Or, for that matter, a high-speed rail system across the country when it already costs California $3 billion per mile? She wants to get rid of fossil fuels when the oil industry supports over 11 million jobs? You know, how about guaranteed jobs? Who's going to pay for that?
Well, who's going to work if we don't have airplanes and buildings and everything else?
Exactly. And the Democrats don't know how to create jobs except through government projects. We've already seen what the minimum wage does to job creation. You know, if you want to secure retirement, then get the government out of the business and let people start investing their own money. You know, we already found out what happens when you have high-quality health care in our country run by the government. It's called Obamacare. And we already have some of the best health care in the world. And it's not going to get any better until we get the government out of it. This woman is becoming a joke of America, not the vision of America. Her plan is to destroy America, not to save it. So let's get rid of these politicians and stop voting them in office, people.
The libs, the libs.
Think before you vote. It's us. It's our problem. We can change it. We just have to start listening and becoming aware of what's going on in the world. I don't get it, Kevin. Maybe it's just too much news.
Maybe. Tea Party Bob, we appreciate you, brother.
Take care, my friend. Have a good day.
All right. God bless. By the way, one more time, here is the new Green Deal and reaction from Capitol Hill.
A group of Democrats led by Senator Ed Markey and Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez are outlining a broad proposal to overhaul U.S. energy, describing the framework as a Green New Deal.
This issue faces all of us, and we are not going to get divided over it, period. We leave no one behind on our solutions.
The sun is setting on the dirty energy of the past. Today marks the dawn of a new era of climate action.
Her direction would take us down the road of an economy that's pretty constant, and how do you divide it up so more people have less? I'm interested in creating a growing economy where there's more for more people.
We are reclaiming our leadership on the most important issue facing humankind. This is the new climate democracy, of the people, by the people, for the planet.
Climate democracy. Is it your government? Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio.
We are reclaiming our leadership on the most important issue facing humankind. This is the new climate democracy, of the people, by the people, for the planet.
There you have it. Cortez's partner there, Senator Edwin Markey of Massachusetts. Your reaction? Brian in Nampa with Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Hello, Brian.
Hey, Kevin. Thanks for making me laugh this morning. I had a rough night last night trying to get sleep and oxygen, you know, the CPAP issue.
I understand.
And speaking of that, even a guy with nerve and brain damage knows these guys are idiots. I love them. Please keep playing it over and over again. They're handing 2020 to Trump on a silver platter. I can't believe the Democrats are this stupid. The more you get Cortez up there preaching her religion of socialism and climate change, and since when are Democrats prejudiced against cows? What about all the other animals? Last time I was on the farm, all of them do that. So it's awesome. Every time I hear this, I just bust up laughing because I'm like, you guys are crazy. You're giving it to Trump on a silver platter. So just keep talking. Please do. Play it loud and proud. I mean, if somebody like me with nerve and brain damage can see that these guys are idiots, and it's kind of scary, too, because think about this way. These people actually believe this stuff or are trying to manipulate the public into believing it. And some of our public is actually buying into this stuff. And it's just, I don't know. It's the last days, brother. Anyway, you have a good day. Thanks for making me chuckle.
That's our mission. Thank you, Brian. God bless.
Bye.
There we have it. Brian, a proud member with Kevin Miller and others in the CPAP Club. Boy, I love this. Are we licensing a new brand of discrimination? Cows. Are we licensing cow discrimination? Tess in, well, I don't know where Tess is. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Are you in Boise or are you somewhere in an undisclosed location, ma'am?
No, today I'm back in Boise.
Oh, good.
So instead up north, yeah. Well, I think, here's one thing that you and I both know, is that if you took a basic class in geology and maybe you went out and got your ticket, and I'm saying I'm a ham radio operator, and so, take a look at a couple things like what really drives the weather. Well, we know that it's things like the sun and solar tornadoes, and magnetic issues. And so here's a site I love to go to. It's called Suspicious Observers. So when people get panicky about things that they think that they can control, maybe they should go and take a look at what they really can't control. Now, I've actually seen the HAARP project up in Alaska after having lived up there for a long time, and that thing actually does create weather. But there are a lot of things that affect our weather. And even though cow flatulence is maybe a little teeny tiny part of that, how about if people look at the bigger picture?
What would you say to Ms. Cortez?
That I looked at your website and your degree is a little odd, and maybe you need to go and talk to some people or get some more practical experience. So it's embarrassing as a woman to listen to other women who have some control over us to make the type of statements that they're making. They're so focused on little tiny spots, so compartmentalized on the issues that they think are well, I can't say they're not important. They are important, but they're only important for their own egos.
Right. You know what we could do? We could invite her to work on the farm. Quickly to Aquaman. Thank you, Tess, for the call on KIDO Talk Radio. Hello, King of the Sea.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Always love talking to superheroes in the morning.
Man, I need some advice. I really do, desperately, from you or any of your scholarly callers. I'm looking at a list of America's most violent cities. I'm a crime fighter, and I'm thinking to myself, well, of all these top 10 most violent cities in America, they all have Democrat mayors. But I'm thinking, what do I do? Do I shift my focus to fighting crime or curbing flatulence?
Flatulence is a grave danger to all of us, apparently.
And if there's a problem with flatulence on the land, do I need to start scoping out the mammals of the sea and measuring their flatulence?
I was going to say, do fish flatulate?
I'm in a dilemma. I need some help.
Thank you, Aquaman. We will get those answers. God bless, sir.
Thanks.
Good morning, Dave. Kevin Miller in the morning. Ray and I, great job as always. Everyone, Glenn Beck is next. Keep it here. Stay informed. Anytime online, KIDO Talk Radio. God bless and keep the faith.